There we go.
I hope they show us honestly. Like, have you seen all those Google searches? People trying to search like President Donald, and then it's like President Donald Duck is a suggested completion to the search, and it's like they're just trying to completely erase, any mention of the assassination attempt of President Trump. So it's like all the big tech working, except for X, of course. That's why we're streaming live on X, because if we say some, you know, it's not even controversial stuff. It's just stuff that isn't in the purview of the mainstream media and the cultural Marxist elite. Then
Right.
we'll get cancelled straight away. There's
So
Adan.
I can say that I tried several attempts and have not been successful in recreating any of those sort of weird results. Everything that I searched seemed normal using Google and whatnot, but yeah, we discussed this in our Twitter spaces for Quantum Expeditions. Look, I mean, if anybody doesn't trust the sources that they're using, there are other search engines out there besides Google that work just fine and work quite well. And I highly encourage people to use them, especially if they feel distrustful. One of the ones that Elon was showing was Meta AI. I mean, has the name Meta attached. I'm not using it anyways. So,
All
What's
right.
up?
So
Done.
we're
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How's the weather on the moon?
Well, it's quite nice actually. I can't complain. It's better than Israel, I can tell you.
What's the
For a
price on the
fact.
moon? At what price do we say we're on the moon? Like we're going to the moon. What do we have to hit for us to say, okay, like let's start building a lunar colony? Like we're here.
Well, actually, I didn't realize the moon was so symbolic. It's just one of these crazy creations we do with metaverse building and all that stuff. So this is just a project. Has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but yeah, I just realized when you said it, I was like, oh, to the moon. I guess it's
It's all,
symbolic.
yeah, it's awesome. It's all to do with Bitcoin, but it's interesting. Like when you're building these metaverse, like the moon was always like our first kind of target when trying to break our orbit. That's where the they supposedly went. The Apollo crew, Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. I'm joking. I'm not a
Yeah.
moon landing truther at all, but that's the first goal, and then we want to get to Mars and beyond. So like
Oh yeah, for sure.
that when you're building these worlds, that's what you want to kind of optimize for. But I want to thank you guys for being here. I was sick the whole of last week, so like the weekend. So usually I prep and I'm coming out with charts and all of that. Now we might have to just wing it and to give it over to Mati and Adan. And Mati actually was in Nashville, Tennessee this week with some very important people and Elon Musk's jet for 5 minutes, right? That flew overhead, but didn't actually land. So we will get a first person take from what the hell the energy was like in that room when Trump came out and gave his obviously very pro Bitcoin speech. Obviously, Robert F. Kennedy going 3 steps further than him and saying something like, I'll eliminate taxes on BTC to USD transfers, which is what it should be, like it is in any other foreign exchange. Whether it's Senator Cynthia Lummis, who came out and had a bull in her hand to buy 5% of the supply. So it's a lot of bullish, a lot of bullish news coming out of Nashville, and the price has barely moved. So we'll talk about that as well. And then we'll also hear from Adan Kedim, who is building metaverses, as you can see, and we'll ask him when moon for the metaverse as well, because that was Adan. I remember you, hearing a lot of your talks in 2021, 2022, like metaverses were hot back then. NFTs, I was also working an NFT project at the time, and so was everyone else. And it seemed like that whole narrative has just shifted away. Like ordinals had their moment on Bitcoin for a while, but even those are completely decimated right now. So is there if when are we going to see some sort of metaverse NFT renaissance that will reflect in our bags? So without further ado, I'll let our guest first introduce himself. Adan and Hernan, welcome, sir, and then we will get over to Mati for a Nashville recap.
And
Well,
I just want to remind everybody that if you are watching, we'd like to know about it. So leave a comment. We frequently feel that it's only bots. So
we have Adan. That's why I was worried about inviting Adan, because Adan's always the first one that's like, yo, and whatever. So I'm like, if he's on the show, then who's gonna write yo? Like, which of the viewers are gonna be there? But I'd rather have you up here talking than hitting us up in the chat. So welcome.
you're the main bot then. Is that the thing?
We have Tal Harrell. So Tal, you're coming on next week. So then we'll have, instead of saying yo, you'll say it in here. So Adan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and privilege. I really enjoyed the podcast last week as well. Enjoy the community talks. So for me, it's all about the community, and it's all about sharing information and being truthful and being upfront about situations and things. It's like kind of my style in this style of community. And yeah, you kind of encapsulate all the things. I'm like a marketing guy in this industry, pretty well aware of the situation right now, what's going on. Metaverse and NFTs, you mentioned, to put it in a perspective. Let's say what happened 2 years ago was a hype, was a bull run, was all about metaverse and NFTs, and I think some of it was really well made, and some of it just destroyed everything for everyone because bad token economics, bad implementations of that specific word that killed everything that has to do with NFTs. I mean, it's just a word, and it destroyed everything for just what it stands for. And
which word? Metaverse?
No, NFT and metaverse. NFT, metaverse, blockchain.
I still
all
don't know
these
what a
words
metaverse
destroy
is,
everything for everyone.
3 years later, I'm like, what the hell is a metaverse? Is it just like another word for the internet, or what?
Well, that's the question. What is a metaverse? Because some people are, bullish about VR goggles. Without VR goggles, there's no metaverse because it's not immersive enough and it's not this enough. But at the end of the day, it's a virtual space. You can meet people, you can interact. It's the best peer-to-peer connection you can have because you're all on the same space doing the same things. And it's all about the community and the context of what you're doing in that specific
you said the best peer-to-peer connection?
Well, think about it this way.
I mean, real life is pretty freaking good.
Well, yeah, but if I want to meet someone, in London and I'm in Israel, I can do Zoom. Right. But Zoom is, it's a single player. What we're doing right now looks like multiplayer, but it's a single player environment. So let's say you're in your house, me with my background. We are all in, different rooms.
Do the question on the screen. Put the question on the screen.
So imagine all of us in the same room, and you like my shirt, for example, and it's like, hey, how much for this shirt? And I go like $50, and you just I hold up my hand, you touch my hand, and money transfers. It's the best peer-to-peer, and it can be used with wallets, and you connect that specific metaverse.
Because that's what I do every time I'm in a room with somebody. I say, hey, how much for your shirt, bud? I want to buy your shirt.
Yeah, but this is like a digital place. So basically, in the digital place, you can have digital commerce. And
sure.
the problem today,
and the other guy won't be naked once he takes his shirt off either, because he'll have like a default shirt on or whatever.
Yeah, it could be a shirt, it could be a vehicle, it could be a weapon, it could be whatever. So customization and your identity in the metaverse is one of the best things about the metaverse, because you can set up your own identity. You could be an avocado if you want. It doesn't matter. But
that's true. I always wanted to be one of those. That could be like a lot of fun, I think.
well, if you go to places like Spatial, like VRChat, like Decentraland, the entire thing about who you are in that community is your identity, and your identity, you can curate merch with it. So
Right.
if you're a DJ, you can give shirts. I've been to events that they give you custom skins. You are
Yeah.
dressed up.
I have a
for
friend who's a
years.
blue potato chip with a top hat.
Well, yeah, anybody can. I had a skin that was Pickle Rick from Rick and Morty.
There you
So
go, Pickle Rick.
yeah, and I went up to people and I was like, "Ah, Pickle Rick," you know, it's a crazy thing, but
They immediately know who you are. It's you're famous.
exactly. After a while in those metaverses, you know people by their names and by their avatars. And
Right.
one of the most, I've been a member of a community on AltSpace. It's a VR and a computer-based metaverse that shut down. It belonged to Microsoft. And one of the most exciting things, I wouldn't call it exciting, but emotional, was a funeral of one of the members that died. And I didn't know who he is until he died. And then they had like an avatar and a picture of the dude that died. And then they created an entire funeral home for that event.
Oh, in VR.
In VR, exactly. They
A
created an
funeral
entire
in
world
VR. That is
to memorialize the
something.
death of that guy. So
Yeah.
you can go. I've been to a wedding in the metaverse. I've been to a Burning Man event. So you have lots of things you can do from your home.
What do you do at the wedding?
if
Are
you're-
you like? Do you have like someone send you fish and a little bit of burritos and meat, and then you like what you just shooting? No,
So
it's fascinating to me that going into different realms, and I think that's definitely on the horizon. But how do you think that interfaces with what's happening in the short term right now? Because right now it doesn't really seem, and we'll get to Bitcoin in a second, but it doesn't really seem like that NFT and a metaverse sort of land. Like yesterday, bro, I checked the price of Sandbox land for the first time in a while, because I have a land, like I bought it. It was next to the Smurf and about 2 blocks down from Snoop Dogg, and I'm like, this is an excellent drop cop. So I copped that, and like, wow, that price is I think it was 4 ETH floor when I got it, and it's around it was like it's around like 5.05 right now, 0.07. So it's
Yeah,
dropped
I
quite
was on the news. I
significantly.
remember they asked me.
Yeah.
So can you explain to us how it is that a virtual yacht just sold for actually more than a real yacht in real life? How'd that happen? I was like, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
That's a sell signal. I don't know, but I'm selling whatever, anything not tied down.
well, you can say, if you take supply and demand, if there's demand, there would be supply, and vice versa. So I mean, imagine
Yes.
this: Roblox, which is another metaverse that goes on all platforms like VR, Xbox, PlayStation. You can go wherever. It has like millions and millions of people playing it. Adidas just opened a world and sold a digital shoe for $25,000. A shoe you
Yep.
cannot put on your leg, anything. It's just something you can put on your avatar's legs.
Yep.
And you have over 60 billion messages a day on Roblox, 60 billion. So imagine all that data and information. For us, it seems like very stupid. We're living in a digital world anyways. You have V-Bucks, you have all those worlds that have like virtual money anyway. They're accustomed to it. They're accustomed to take their money, transfer it to a digital entity, and then buying digital goods on those platforms. So basically, imagine V-Bucks would have the value you can take out of that game and buy real stuff. V-Bucks will have real value, and it can compete with other crypto and other coins. So it's just a matter of time until someone would say, V-Bucks have value. I believe in it, and a community.
It does have value, but if you want to capture some of that value and actually raised from it, you need to like be building in the game and stuff. Like, so the programmers and whatnot, they can actually capture some of that value.
Oh, look, at the moment, the let's say the challenge of most games.
I don't know if their stock is public. Is it? Who are the people behind Roblox?
Epic. No, Roblox is not Epic. I forget about Roblox, but
Roblox Corporation. I don't think they're a publicly traded company, are they?
I think so. I'm not 100% on it.
Oh yeah,
I think they
it
went
is.
public a few years ago, actually.
Yeah, they are public.
If I'm not mistaken. One of my friends.
So what's the problem? You know, if you want to, you know, like, okay, so if you want to get Roblox as an investment, you don't buy the Robux, obviously. Just buy the stock from Roblox Corporation. You're good, right?
You can do either that, or you can create a world of your own. One of the a lot.
Yeah, but who wants to play in it?
Well, all the millions of kids that are there spending way over $100 on average on Roblox, and that's a metaverse. You meet your friends there. People are streaming from Roblox. People are building. Actually, on Roblox, if you want to go like to our situation, there was a huge rally of like tens of thousands of people.
My kid has a YouTube channel, and his YouTube channel, he's 5 years old. He's got his YouTube channel is mostly Roblox videos, so I'm pretty intimate with the game. Yeah. I would be very surprised if you were to present him an alternate game and he'd be equally.
Wait, your 5-year-old kid has a YouTube channel. Does he manage like everything on his own? Downloading, uploading. That is unreal, bro.
I caught him like he can set up the camera now by himself and hit the go button and the stop button, and then I have to help him with the rest of it. But the point is that like Roblox is not just the game. Obviously, you've mentioned the massivity of like what's going on in there, but also what's going on off the platform as well on YouTube and such. It's a religion for many children. So it's like it's not just that. It's also there's the onboarding process and growing and scaling to that level. That takes a lot of work. So even if you built a world as big as Roblox, which that in itself is going to take massive amounts of resources, you just attracting that level of users and that level of excitement. I mean, how do you what's the game plan here?
Well, I agree with you 100%. There was that's the entire debate in the metaverse community, because you have a lot of technical difficulties and stuff that you cannot do yet unless you're a Roblox or unless you're a Fortnite or one of those AAA companies that can do whatever they want.
Or RuneScape. By the way, is RuneScape a metaverse? You haven't answered this question. It's been on the screen for 10 minutes. Yeah. Is RuneScape a metaverse?
I'm not sure about that specific.
Is Roblox a metaverse?
Well, yeah, it's considered a metaverse.
Okay.
Like there are certain rules for what a metaverse is. So most of people would look at it like a game. It's a game. It's just a game. You can whatever. Let's say it's just a parallel living. It's a digital living. That's what it is. Cool. So basically on Roblox, you can build an experience. You have an economy. You have an avatar system. You have a peer-to-peer system, and it's a peer-to-peer interactive system. So basically, again, it's perfect for peer-to-peer because you know the people that play with you. You know the people in your community, so you have trust. So imagine in that specific area, when you sell digital goods, you don't need the trustless environment we have problems with in the crypto community. So that's why people usually do not trade or do not deal peer-to-peer in the crypto community, because they don't know who's on the other side. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And by the way, the engagement here is terrible. I think that we're mostly being broadcasting for bots at the moment. So if there is anybody who's human and you are watching, like, please just let us know, comments and shit, and retweets, so we know that you're human.
Okay, I think the Bitcoin maximalist in me, is kind of saying that at this point in time, 20 minutes about the metaverse, when we still haven't heard from Mati about what it was like at what could be described as, I don't know, the coming together, the sort of Mayflower moment of the Bitcoin movement at Nashville, Tennessee.
100%. Before you do that, 100% on that. When I've seen some of the there's like a YouTube video, like 9 hours of what happened in the event, and I think it's one of the most amazing events in the last few years. And yeah, Mati, I'm excited.
You should have seen the side events, man. The side events were better than the main event, honestly, in my opinion. There was a spreadsheet circulating with 180 side events. My ticket, I was able to buy off a friend who got it from the early bird. It was $275, but I didn't spend more than an hour like on the conference floor. Honestly, it was like we got in, we saw a bunch of people that we knew, and that was really, really awesome. But then we're like, okay, it's time for a side event, and then we just jumped from
which side events did you hit up?
All right, so the first one was called Hash Rates and Hash Browns, which was kind of a late breakfast, and it was attended by Violetta Zeroni, the Web3 NFT singer. She's pretty awesome, and we've been on many spaces together. Actually, she got her start on our quantum economics space like back in the day. And she did us a private concert. Like it was like only 15 people in the audience, and like every single one of us, like we know her songs really well. And I saw a dude, actually, like this was my first, like I run a Bitcoin mining company, and this was actually the first time I ever saw a Bitcoin miner running. And not only I saw a Bitcoin miner running, this dude was heating up his breakfast with it. It was really awesome. He had the tray of hash browns right next to the S19J Pro, and he was like literally like warming up his hash browns with his hash rate. And he showed me everything on the computers and stuff. And he was actually
he's cooking with hash, like while. Who said Bitcoin mining is useless? Everyone was like, why can't you Bitcoin mining algorithm be used to train AI? No, because it can be used to cook food in the real world.
It was incredible because I ate the hash browns cold, and I was like, these should be warmed up. And I did not see like a microwave around or anything. And then I go outside and I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So that was pretty awesome. He was using the electricity from the jacuzzi for the Airbnb. It's like he just jerry rigged it. Dude knew what he was doing, obviously. Yeah. So then after that, we went to a Bitcoin investors and founders mixer, which was really awesome. Met some really great people, and definitely some very high profile investors and stuff like that. That was by invitation of Luke Kerner, who's our head crypto analyst at Quantum Economics. He's obviously very, very plugged in. And I went to Lunar Crush. Lunar Crush had an event on a rooftop there. They're doing some great things in the space. I've been advising them for nearly 4 years now, and helped them to get to where they are today. Quite an awesome company, and a lot of great stuff happening in the near future. They have migrated the Lunar token now to the Buzz token, including about 7 or 8 different companies that are building together now as a kind of shared ecosystem for the Buzz coin. Yeah, and after that, just kind of hopped around from place to place, and there was one party put on by a company called Lorenzo. And if you ever hear about these people, run as fast as you can in the opposite direction, because they are a complete scam. Literally, I had a good conversation with the founder, who was like, yeah, so you give me your Bitcoin, you lock it up in our protocol, and I will give you enough shit coins to make you 30% a year. And I'm like, but won't the value of the shit coin go down? Yeah, but it's okay, because I'll just keep printing more and more until you get that 30%. And I'm like, right. So what happened?
Yeah, I've heard that. Where did a curly-haired autist once thought of such an idea and pawned it off to his friend?
No, and then one of my friends goes, so what happens in the bear market? Like, what happens when your token crashes? He goes, doesn't matter. I already made my money. It's like, no, you made your money, but what happens to the investors?
But saying the quiet part out loud.
Like zero fiduciary responsibility. They've raised something like $200 million, as far as I'm aware.
$200 million.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for.
Look, I think now that the bull market's back, you get a lot of a lot of quants, all of a sudden their models are starting to work again. So you're getting a lot, like you're starting to hear a lot more people kind of raising funds or opening sort of funds, and it's at the end of the day, like for a lot of it is just like, if you buy and hodl BTC, like in the normal stock market, think about how rare it is for a financial advisor to outperform the S&P with active trading. Now imagine if Bitcoin's your hurdle rate. Like, oh no, bro, you need to be a blessed financial specimen to figure out how to beat that market. And some people manage to do it with covered contracts or with an algorithm that like can buy and sell throughout time, or you can get in pre-sales, or you can get it. So some people have some alpha, but as a rule of thumb, like if these people are pitching you things that are too good to be true, and it's going to be harder to resist as we go up, because by the time Bitcoin hit 80, 90, 100K, people that haven't rode it up will start to get that FOMO tingling. How can I juice my return?
Yeah, you got to watch out for that stuff. That if you're trying to make 30% in a year, that could be a scam.
But that was obviously. I've been in this, just to back up for a second. I've been in this industry since 2017. I started dealing in the industry with blockchain and crypto projects. I've been involved in several different companies as head of marketing, as CMO, consultancy, a lot of different things. And I always come to the conclusion that, once your community is in it for the money, there's nothing you can do. And there's nothing you can do that can change their minds after they made their investments. Usually they want to sell, and usually that price will drop. And usually you go into a bear market. And once there's no product and no technology behind that specific money raising, it's like there's a lot of projects that are either start that way or get stuck because they cannot move forward. How do you see it differently? Like, a lot of companies base their entire token economics on the premise that you'll make money on a private pre-sale of a sort. Early investors will make money, and all the rest will probably lose money. It's like that on most trading platforms, on most regular trading as well. But how do you see it differently this time? I mean, you know what I mean?
I think the days of printing tokens as a way to make money, like that's our strategy. Like we don't have a revenue model. We don't have any case for bringing in income. It's just just about the token price. I think that's been turned on its head, actually. Like you have projects like Pump.Fund, which has more revenue than Ethereum in some cases, right? More on one of its metrics is even beating Ethereum, like in the amount of trades that are happening over there, and they don't have a token over there, and they're making a ginormous amounts of revenue. Same with something like June Analytics. So June Analytics is something that I'm still trying to crack. That's my Achilles heel. It's just like I just can't manage to get it to work without paying. Like I should know SQL and get it to work, but they make it such that you have to pay and subscribe, and they have a proper subscription model, similar to how you would ChatGPT or OpenAI, where you buy API credit, and that's in order to query the block. They don't have a token, so a lot of projects out there have found a way to, it's that argument of printing tokens as our only business model fits in with there's no use case. It's just it's a problem looking for a solution. But I think a lot of companies, Polymarket, another example, no Polymarket token, and they're probably one of the most talked about app in the world. So that has been turned on its head. There's a lot of real value being created in crypto, and there's a lot of token value being created in crypto, and not always are those two the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So there is, I think there is value. There is real. People are planning on how can I make revenue, and not just how can I make money off a pre-sale here. because the companies that are making revenue and they're doing, they haven't even done the pre-sale yet. Maybe they've raised from VC with a token grant, but they haven't gone to pre-sale yet.
I think, by the way, the AI surge, what happens now with AI? And it's not a trend anymore. It's something that is solidified in our day-to-day. Mass adoption has already happened. Now, what you're going to do with that mass adoption is what people are working on at the moment. But think about AI as a brilliant way to make money. They said, you know what? Take this thing. It works. It will make your life way better. And you have to buy tokens in order to operate this machine. It's the same way crypto works.
You don't have to buy tokens to use AI. What's going on?
Well, if you want to do like more important, like if you take Claude, for instance, it's a beautiful AI mechanic. You can do a lot of things with it, but you can do only like 5-6 inquiries a day. If you want more, you pay like $20 a month.
Token credit, tokens in a.
At this point, like even Google, like when you ask some questions on Google, it's already giving you the AI answer. I mean, I noticed that a few times recently.
Yeah, but
by the way, it looks like we have about 179 bots watching and about 2 humans. So I'm keeping track here. 2 humans, 3 panelists. Something's wrong. If you are a human, you are watching, whether the live or the recording, let us know so we can keep track and not count you as a bot. Thank you.
You should do the I Am Legend, the Will Smith thing when he sits on the pier and tells people they can join him. I have food. I have, resources. Please meet me at the pier.
We have cookies.
High noon. Just tell me if you're alive. You are the resistance.
There we go.
I'm just
Gonna have to rewatch that movie.
Yeah. I think AI. You said some of the advanced setting of AI. If you want to work on a professional level, you have to pay money. Like Canva, you have to pay money in order to get like professional. Claude, you have to pay money. Even OpenAI, if you want to create your own bot, you have to pay. So, I mean, those are one of the things. Wait a minute.
All right. Chaincoiner is a human name, by the way. Legit. In any case, look, I don't necessarily know that. Like, I get the use case of like AIs and crypto going together, but like, I don't necessarily think that you need to own a crypto in order to use an AI.
I don't think he meant token as like a. No. You don't need a token as a crypto token, like a token for an API, like an API token.
You buy credits.
You like have a credit, credit token. You realize it's just like you can put that on chain. Like, why would you? Becomes the question, but that's very easy to put on chain to pre-sell, to invest it. And then, that wouldn't be a good investment because credits become cheaper, with AI. Because like the AIs get better and better and better. That your token, it needs to have some sort of a deflationary mechanism because otherwise.
But you have masses using it, so quantity would be the solution there. So I mean, again, it's brilliant. Token economics. You give something for free, you let people enjoy it and use it. If you want some extras, you pay money. So I mean, I think it's just a good model, and I think people should explore the possibility of letting people use and enjoy their products before asking for money, and then make it simple and usable, and then you can ask for money. I think it's just a very
freemium.
I think it's a very good model. AI dominates everything right now, not because it's a hype, because it works, and it works well. So I think that's what every technological, breakthrough should look at, and how they did that, how they made it usable, how they made everything simple, and how it, makes your life better. And if you find a model, like when companies ask me like marketing advice and advice about how to present their story, just give a good product. Before you ask for money, think about the product, think about what you're offering, think about what this use case is for the guy. What are you making better that it does not exist? Why do you need it? And then ask for money after. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Why would people do that? I mean, they could just launch something that doesn't have any utility or any use case, and make $1 billion. Why would they want to think about the utility and the product?
No, I mean, if it works,
I don't know. It's a question.
No, it's a good question. Like, some things are completely free. You don't pay anything. That means you're the product. That means they collect your data, or they use your usage somehow to make money on the other side, with advertisers, with publishers, or whatever. So when you use something for free, you pay with your data or with your actions. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
that's
No,
another.
I was referring to like meme coins and stuff. They don't have any like kind of utility or use case or whatever. It's just somebody just decided to make a coin, and they made a coin, and then try to pump it.
Yeah, well, that's how do you call it? Dogecoin. That's how it started, making fun of Bitcoin. That's exactly how it started. And
that's a real world use case right there.
A meme coin that you could pay for AI generation with.
I bet there's some AI ChatGPT's blockchains out there.
There's probably a lot of the ones that like are you just domain and running Google ads with a phishing link. That I can promise you.
You just don't try and use like real crypto on the actual ChatGPT platform, because they only accept fiat.
Well, here you go. That's another way to create revenue.
You but have meme coin. Yeah, well, I think for me, like the way I see AI, like Vitalik wrote about it as well, like where AI blockchain can integrate. I think first of all, if you're working with AI, like unless you have some sort of really important edge, like I wouldn't be in the business of trying to make models. Like take the open source, what's out there. Like these guys have a lot more specialized hardware than you, and a lot more. It's going to become a lot more monopolistic in the actual model building, parameter fine tuning, all of that. Like the number of parameters of these models are in the billions now, and it's going to become a lot more hyper focused who NVIDIA will sell those chips to, and where the top engineers go. So you use the pre-trained models, and now the question is, how do I figure it? How do I get that to 10x me as a developer, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, as a content writer, or whatever? And then that's kind of like and adding some automation into the mix. And if you can 10x yourself as whatever, add the automation into the mix and come into crypto, then you have a lot of things that you can play with in automated DeFi strategies. And I'm sure Mati will give us tell us a little bit about Quora as well, that on that trade. So that's one way of seeing AI. And the other way is I don't want AI to do what I'm doing so I can have more time to take on other tasks. I want AI to get to a point where I can collapse a 9-hour workday into 3, and then I'm free for the next 6 hours to go surf and take my son for ice cream and watch Rick and Morty for 4 hours if I want to, because I can.
You haven't seen them all already?
I just like a rerun from the beginning.
Okay.
Mati, by the way, about the conference, if you go back to that, what was I remember when I was like in Dubai 2 years ago, like maybe 3. We went there on like a DeFi mission back in the day to get investors when DeFi was still popular.
I remember.
And when we got there, DeFi was all the rage. It was really hyped up. And then we came back like 6 months later, no DeFi in sight, only NFTs. Nothing but NFTs on all the conferences floors. And I was wondering, because this was a Bitcoin conference, what was the hype like? In those conferences, you can like kind of tell what's going to happen in the next few months. What was like a sentiment over there on what's popular, or what's like to invest in?
All right. So,
not as an investment advice, of course.
All right. So again, I was only on the conference floor for about like 60 to 90 minutes, like total. What I can tell you is there was a huge wizard hat, huge wizard hat, which kind of like attracted us at the beginning. I was with my co-founder Doug Hardwick, and we just like walked towards that hat, and then, of course that's the the ordinals and everything like that, and then kind of like looked at the schedule and like, okay, there's actually a mining section. So about a third of the conference floor was like Bitcoin mining. So Bitcoin mining is huge, right? And that's where we wanted to spend our time, because that's where all of our people are. Doug and I are building quantum expeditions, and we did in fact get some good information and insight into like the energy usage of the world, and how that's going to grow, and how Bitcoin mining is very likely to take a very prominent part of that. And then of course, one of our investors just ran into us and just kind of recognized us, like, hey, I invested in you guys, 10K. I was like, okay, awesome to meet you. And then we ran into our advisor, and he introduced us to a bunch of people, and so that was pretty awesome. But I would say overall, and not just at the conference itself, but basically everybody in Nashville that I spoke with, and the general feeling was, that July 27th was a historic day. And we knew that in advance, because, when I got back to Long Beach, where I am now, and all my family's like, hey, did you see what happened with Trump and Bitcoin? I'm like, yes, I actually knew that was going to happen, because, I'm in this world. And it was quite, I would say, like, trippy, or awesome, or awe-inspiring. I think it was like, there was just kind of this aura that we are participating in history at this moment in time. So that's I would say, like, that's why this conference was special. That's why I wanted to be there, on the ground, at ground zero, to make sure, that I was able to bear witness of what that was like. And I can say I was totally not disappointed in any way, shape, or form.
I think
Amazing.
sorry.
Wow, Mati, that I'm cutting that clip. You see the logo over there, because like your quote, there was just this aura that we were participating in history at this moment in time. And Trump actually said that before he was in Nashville, he went to, like, first of all, he gave us a shout out. He said, like, Hezbollah, like, watch out. That's the first thing he said. And then he said,
Yeah.
that I went to a Christian gathering just before, and guys were joking, like, yeah, it's like going from one religion to the other. You could,
but the speech, the really awesome part was, like, he didn't just come up and endorse it and say, you guys are awesome. And that's what my brother was kind of trying to allude to. Yeah, that guy, he'll just say whatever is going to get in the votes. No. If you listen to what he was saying, it displayed that he knew what the F is going on in this world. So he was, talking about the Gemini twins and Cynthia Lummis, and he was talking about, like, naming names within the industry.
Yeah, he was shouting out Kid Rock and Cameron, beautiful.
Yeah,
all the Bitcoiners of all the stripes.
That was kind of funny. But then he says, like, yeah, my kids use Bitcoin, right? And that's when it got me thinking, like, okay, this isn't just, he's not just blowing smoke up our butts over here. Like, he actually knows what the F is going on, why this is good. Obviously we'll all remember when he said he's going to fire Gary Gensler, and then the crowd roared so loud he had to say it again. But the stuff like, there'll never be a CBDC. He understands why it is absolutely awful for there to be, a CBDC. So there was a lot within his speech that just showed that it's not just like him trying to kowtow to Bitcoin, but actually, like, he understands what it is, why it's important, why we're fighting for this, and why this needs to be an important part of American culture, and why America needs to be a leader in this going forward. Because, I mean, if you've been watching any of my stuff, or even the Breakfast Show, for any period of time, you understand the United States has fallen behind critically in the field of fintech innovation because of this terrible stance from the SEC and the terrible stance from the administration, which basically been fighting on behalf of the centralized and dinosauric bankers that just need to perish at some point in the future. And what Satoshi Nakamoto invented is a remedy to corruption. And there is a lot of corruption in this world. There's a lot of corruption in the United States government, particularly, possibly more than any other nation out there. And Bitcoin is a remedy to that. And I'm glad to see that somebody, I mean, like him or not like him, you could choose whatever you want, was glad to see that somebody's standing up for that and what that means.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's number one question on everyone's mind right now. Like, how much, how much will Trump put his money where his mouth is? Because I knowing from the Israeli perspective, like his last term, he promised to move the embassy. He moved the embassy. He promised peace, the accord. We had the Abraham Accord. So I thought, like, he's kind of a guy that delivers on the one hand. On the other hand, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, the people that surround him, and I think that's the key of this administration. The president is people I think overestimate how much power they have. The president isn't writing SEC regulation. That's Gary Gensler. Trump will go and take, probably maybe Hester Pierce, someone friendly to the industry, and put them at the head of the SEC. His version of Senator Warren will be Cynthia Loomis, who's pushing this gigantic bar order, one-touch shoe shine onto Coinbase Premium, onto Coinbase Pro, and that whole ecosystem of advisors and senators and regulators that surround the president. It's going to be, there's not going to be any way but up. So what if Trump doesn't kiss the book of Satoshi every morning?
No,
the results will be the same.
Say that really are the clue to why I feel that he's going to fulfill on all of these promises, is that he said that Bitcoin is not bad for the U.S. dollar. It's the current administration that is doing the damage, right? And that shows just a deep understanding of how the world works and what's causing cause and effect. And this is something that we've said over and over and over again in our shows and other shows and in the news, is that United States taking a leadership role on Bitcoin will be good for the dollar. It will be good for the United States overall. It is the weaponization of the dollar that has been killing it. It is the overprinting, the inflation, and the lack of any sort of alternative to that, which has been killing the U.S. economy.
I'm just curious, they plan when Cynthia Loomis got up there. When Cynthia Loomis got up there and she was like, proposing the bill, she said this is to help deal with the debt, America's debt problem. But how does holding Bitcoin help deal with America's debt problem unless you plan on eventually, erasing all that debt by switching to the Bitcoin?
Me to erase my debt. The same way.
Because it's just
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like you hold on to an asset that's valuable versus an asset that's not valuable.
So that,
and your debt goes away.
Yeah. I think he's taking some sort of page from the Elon Musk playbook, if you ask me. Besides Donald Trump being a money man, it makes sense that he will have Bitcoin and he will know what's going on in that market. It makes perfect sense his children use Bitcoin, and it makes perfect sense for him to put money on Bitcoin. And the Elon Musk page, maybe, I'm just speculating, of course. Elon Musk, with his play, let's call it manipulation of markets. I think maybe he's hoping for some sort of a discount on Bitcoin soon, so he can.
But we don't have to speculate. Donald Trump does own Bitcoin. We already know this as a fact. I mean, he's been donated very publicly with Bitcoin. I think the Gemini brothers gave him a very specific amount, and then I think you can look it up. He's raised a lot of money in Bitcoin that now belongs to him. So there's no speculation involved. He does own Bitcoin. He's got skin in the game.
No, sounds like it makes sense. So it makes sense 100%. I didn't know that, by the way. So for me, it's good news. But on the flip side, I mean, maybe he plans some sort of pump and dump on that thing. You never know.
Wait, but he also said in his speech, you don't sell your Bitcoin. He said, I'm going to make sure that the United States follows that rule that you guys know for a long time already. You never sell your Bitcoin. You don't sell it.
So it's a hodl?
What he says. I mean, that's what it seems that he understands these principles. And look, I mean, the only reason that anybody should ever sell their Bitcoin is if they really need it in order to fulfill some kind of financial obligation, feed their children, or pay the rent and stuff like that. They can't otherwise do it. So people do that sometimes, and I think that if you're Donald Trump, you probably don't have to do that because you got other sources of income and stuff.
That's 100% true. I mean, you know what?
I think it's I think it's yeah, I agree with you with the when you sell your Bitcoin thing. I mean, if you have any shitcoin, you would sell that on the way up and kind of live off, enjoy a little profit living. But I'm just becoming more and more aware that, like, like I had my price targets in for this cycle. Like, when am I going to start taking profit? And BTC used to feature into that equation. I don't like now. I'm thinking, maybe it is about time to go hardcore and be like, okay, there's only 21 million of these tokens. America wants to buy 1 million. Okay, that's 5% gone. Satoshi has 1 million. Okay, that's gone. Lost coin, whatever. Like, okay, 8 million coins left. That isn't with Saylor, Elon, Trump, or Satoshi. For little old me and my friends and the 7 billion other people, 9 other billion people in the world to share. Maybe I shouldn't sell this shit. Maybe I just shouldn't. Like, I can, I don't need to upgrade my lifestyle, and I don't need to buy bottles in Mykonos because it's the bull market. I can, live like a normal human being and just keep hodling my sats, because eventually I don't think it will be able to be possible to even convert fiat to Bitcoin. That will be a one-way conversion only. No one will accept paper money printed, by a central bank in Nigeria for a Bitcoin. Like, eventually that's going to stop the convertibility of Naira to Bitcoin, and it will reach the convertibility of US dollar to Bitcoin. I think, that way. So definitely don't sell your Bitcoin.
By the way, besides the conference that happened now, I remember one other occasion when I felt like, blockchain and crypto is becoming something of a consensus, was actually Consensus 2018, which was, I think, one of the largest conferences back then. It was the first conference of its kind, like a global meeting of all the crypto. I think it was 2018, something like that, Consensus. And I think it feels like what this conference feels like. But this time, you have like one of the top guys in the world talking about Bitcoin is good, let's do it, which makes a huge difference. Huge difference. And like I think it's a good it's a good moment for crypto and for blockchain. I think it's a good moment for us.
Yeah, but
Mati,
again, and this is what I highlighted in the Quantum Alpha newsletter this morning, is that it's not a done deal just yet. Kamala Harris is gaining in the polls. She started off with a way behind, and I did show a chart of her actually really catching up lately to Trump. Trump's approval rating is going up, but Harris's approval rating is going up much faster, and that is a problem because some people out there, are going to hate Bitcoin because the Republicans like it, because Donald Trump likes it, and that's going to make them actually hate it. And if those people do remain in power, that could be actually like a complete opposite, which is why I believe, as you mentioned, the price of Bitcoin isn't shooting the moon today, but rather people are going to wait and see how the elections play out. And I remember the first time Donald Trump was elected, I remember writing about it and sharing a screenshot of the S&P 500 doing like this, like a complete jump on the open as soon as Donald Trump was confirmed as the president. There was massive excitement in the markets, and and for good reason, for what he did with the economy up until the point that COVID came and ruined the party. So it unfortunately it's not a done deal at this point. I believe in as far as when Joe Biden was running, it seemed like there was no way in heck that he could lose. But at this point, I think that there's enough people in the world who are just like anti-Trump, that we do have to watch out for that. And there's still a lot of work that needs to be done as far as, making sure that everybody who's out there goes and votes. I don't know why Vitalik decided to write a blog post saying, don't mix, your political views and your crypto. I don't get that. Look, if you believe in Bitcoin, and you are somebody who spends a lot of their time immersed in crypto, there is no reason that you should be voting Democrat, who's going to squash what you're working so hard on. And that blog post, I think, was well out of line from Vitalik. But sometimes I guess I can kind of understand why he might think that. But to me, look, if you're out there and if you believe that in the future of this, like, definitely make sure to vote. If you're a U.S. citizen, U.S. citizens living in Israel, you can vote. There's a website. Just let me know. I'll get you on that as soon as possible. For those who'd like to donate and help raise awareness, there's 600,000 U.S. citizens living in Israel who have been known to swing the election before. The 2016 election was swung in favor of Bush in Florida by Israeli voters, by Israeli American voters. So definitely make sure that you apply for your ballot. And if you'd like to help us out in raising awareness with that, just let me know, and I'll be happy to get you all hooked up with that, because it is quite important that we secure the win here, because I shudder to think what might happen, if Harris does win this, because, like, she's obviously clueless, and would be very much continuation of Biden and Obama policies, which would be terrible for Bitcoin, terrible for crypto, and terrible for the state of Israel.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you for that expert advice. So obviously, Mati is very pro-Trump here, and I think so are a lot of other people in our industry, because they understand what is going to result on that daily, hourly, weekly, monthly chart the second his election gets confirmed by the officials in America. And what would happen in the other case, in the case that he doesn't win, is getting priced in as well. I think what we saw last night was, the U.S. government moving their coins as a response to Trump. Like, even if they're not selling right now, tomorrow, or whatever, like, even if that was just a scheduled transaction from 3, it just goes to highlight that there is this and I wrote a post yesterday on LinkedIn that got a ton of hate from a lot of what seemingly anti-Trump guys as well. Using, now they can align their hate for Trump and their hate for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has that risk of being a partisan issue. I don't think it should be a partisan issue, and you see a lot of Democrats that are working toward some common sense legislation, but I think until they
shouldn't be. Who gives a shit? I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It clearly is at this point. Like, he's like, oh, it shouldn't be. You're right. It shouldn't be. Actually, it shouldn't be involved in politics at all. But it is, and and politics do have a real world effect on this stuff, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I'm not a purist. I don't think, like, Bitcoin. While obviously Bitcoin, in order to change the world, has to get its hands dirty with politics. But I think that
no, it doesn't have to.
I don't think so as well.
It helps, right? Like, and I think somebody said it. Somebody I heard say, okay, look, Bitcoin has risen 50% since Joe Biden took office. I don't remember what the exact statistic was. It's like, yeah, but if Trump was in the office, it would have risen 300%. So that there is a real difference. Bitcoin will continue to grow, continue to proliferate, because it is useful, because people like it, independently of politics. But whoever is the administration, whether the Fed is printing money, not printing money, cutting rates, raising rates, these things have effects on the economy, and therefore they affect asset prices. They won't affect the block times. but they
Yeah,
will affect
they won't affect the
price.
block time. But when I mean Bitcoin have to get its hand dirty with politics, it's the adoption that you mentioned, the grassroots, like people using it in Venezuela because their country's about to go to shit. They want to get into something
Oh, it's
stable.
already in this shit. I don't know if you saw that. They're deep in this shit right now.
What is going with
So
El Salvador? Is it?
El
Isn't it?
Salvador is I just watched a documentary this morning. A guy did an 11-minute documentary inside their prison, the Center for Terrorism or whatever, and they MS-13 and Barrier 18 gang members inside, and it's a massive 80 prisoners per cell. They in there for life. They scan full X-ray as they come in to make sure no one smuggling in anything. It's that's proper. They've taken care of their streets over there in El Salvador. So
Did
El
you see the
Salvador,
Did you see the children like running Bitcoin nodes in high school?
yeah,
Like literally they're learning to
yeah,
run Bitcoin nodes in the public high schools there. It's
yeah.
beautiful. I spent a lot of time with at the conference with somebody from El Salvador. He's like, you got to come see them. You got to come see the volcano mine. And it's on my my wish list now. I want to see it with my own eyes. I want to make a pilgrimage to El Salvador so I can see this
So we
Bitcoin.
all, one of my highest bucket list items is to get a Chabad house to open in El Salvador because there isn't one at the
Oh,
moment. And so
oh,
that's like if you trip down there, you don't have anywhere like this. Jews don't have anywhere to go for Shabbat or some
that
kosher
man.
food. So we need to find a Bitcoiner. If you're listening to this and you're a Bitcoiner, speak Spanish, and you're a Chabad Shaliach, you want an adventure, hit me up. Let's try fundraise for you. Let's try get.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
the
be into
first thing.
that.
Yeah.
Let me know how I can help, man. We need to get a Chabad house going in El Salvador.
Even if it's just small at the beginning, like just get a guy that maybe how they all start. They all start with like a 2 week trip in the holidays, like maybe like around Bitcoin Pizza Day, like we all decide we want to go out there. We get a rabbi to come and officiate, and then it just like can grow from there. And if there's a lot, I don't know how many. I assume quite a few Jews are traveling there. I think El Salvador is going to be a much more popular destination, especially if you're coming from Miami and if you're coming from like the South United States, because it's a short hop over.
Yeah, I'm in
Really.
California now, so it's actually not that far. I think I looked up. I already looked up the flights. It's gonna be about $1,500 to take my whole family down there. So
That's not bad.
I'm
If you said
considering it. I'm considering it.
$1,500, for me, it's like for me to take my family to South Africa, it's almost $1,500 per ticket.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's amazing that you can get to Bitcoin country so quickly.
yeah. It's not about the money at this point. It's about convincing my wife to make sure that she actually wants to
Salvador.
go El Salvador. She's like, I don't think I want to go on one of your work trips.
It's not a work trip. Tell her that you'll be able to. First of all, it looks beautiful. Secondly, like I don't know if you could get a meet with Bukele, but you could definitely like get put Bitcoiners to show you
I told
around
her we might meet the
New York.
president. She's like, I don't care. It's like, all right. No, I'd like to see it. I really want to see that volcano mine because it's certainly a passion of mine, Bitcoin mining, and now that I've seen a dude warming his breakfast, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to see the real
Are you
deal.
going to take hash browns to El Salvador and try warm them in the volcano?
Maybe you can do one of those Lord of the Rings thing. One coin to rule them all.
To make some pitas, like stick them in the side there.
Okay, Mati, we've had an excellent session. Thank you guys for joining. Next week we'll be back with more Yalla Bitcoin Breakfast Show. And I've also got good news. I've got some logos that I'm running. I'm going to send you guys to check out as well, Mati. Like for the Yalla Bitcoin Show, I'm going to rebrand my channel. We got a Twitter handle that we're not really using, and we're going to kind of rebrand that and start to get the Yalla Bitcoin name going. And it's more about a community. Like right now, I named my channel Satoshi Shen, whatever. It's a nice name. I'll probably buy the domain and use it for something else. But for now, I think the show and the channel and the community it's not about me and it's not about Mati and Adan. Like everyone here, we're we're friends, we're connecting online, we get a beer together once in a while, and that's what we want to showcase on this channel. So if you want to create content for the channel, if you want to feature your brand in the channel, let us know. We're always looking for collaborators. But before we go, Mati, I want you to just give us maybe 1-2 minute quick breakdown of a chart, like where we're holding with Bitcoin, what's going to come in the next couple
geez,
weeks.
man, I wish I could. I'm on my laptop at the moment. Let me see what I can do here as far as sharing the screen. Geez. Okay, I apologize.
I put you on the spot there, but
I'm not entirely. Yeah, look, there's the 69,000, which was attained again. This is pretty much the top of the range. Again, I just we can see it toying over here. I think 70, 71, and then early on we hit 70, 73. Right, so we really need to get to 74 before we could say that that we're into new all-time high territory. So this range has been playing out since pretty much March. So March, April, May, June, July. That's 5 months inside this range. I do believe that if we continue to see more good polls for Donald Trump, and then I mean, Trump was talking about China trying to move into Bitcoin, and I thought I saw some more like Hong Kong news. I don't remember what exactly that was. But if you'll recall, several months ago, I was telling y'all about the possibility that people or countries would be purchasing Bitcoin very soon. And now we see it happening, of course, with Trump talking about a Bitcoin strategic reserve. I believe that other countries are going to kind of follow suit pretty soon. I think we're getting closer and closer to that. So eyes on that 74K level, because a break of 74K, there's no resistance after that until 100K, which is the next round number. So
I think Bitcoin will, it will have a new all-time high, I think, pretty soon, and it will hit 100K in the next 2 years. What happens after November? That is, I think, the big question, because it's becoming more and more partisan. And one thing that we didn't calculate is that if Trump comes out giving a bear hug to Bitcoin, then all the never Trumpers, MAGA hating, white glove wearing, blue haired libs won't love Bitcoin either. So it will become this fun. There'll be some way to
and they can have fun staying poor, doo-doo. They can literally.
So that's going to create that antagonism, and you're seeing that now, perhaps in the government as well.
But
so
people hating it doesn't negatively affect.
Just makes it stronger. No, 100%.
It doesn't
But
negatively.
we're still very dependent on November for the short, medium term.
What I want to see is other countries. I think Argentina, for example. We've been talking about Milei a lot. We haven't seen any sort of major move towards Bitcoin just yet from him, which I think could be coming soon. And then whatever happens in Venezuela, Maduro is toast at this point. So we're going to see a new government forming there, and we already know that people in Venezuela have been Bitcoining for years already. So that's the thing. So I think South America is a place to watch as far as that's concerned, and adoption is concerned. So like if we are in this world, which I predicted at the beginning of the year, where we see nation states competing and FOMOing into Bitcoin, I mean, 280K by the end of the year is still on the table.
Damn straight. So let's wait and see which nation will it be. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and we will check you next week.
Thanks for joining us, Adan.
Thank you. It was a pleasure and a privilege.
And all the bots, thanks for joining us. And the 3 or 4 people that watched, it almost made it worthwhile.
Thank you.